Have you ever wondered if it's actually possible to build a real revenue stream from home without getting scammed by those fake internet gurus? Well, you are in exactly the right place. Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something really special. It's called the Digital Income Blueprint, a roadmap to financial independence. We're going to unpack this step by step and lay out a real, actionable roadmap to financial independence directly from the core principles of this text. Let's get right to it. So, here's the million-dollar question, or maybe I should say the daily-dollar question. Can you really build sustainable daily income from home? That is the absolute foundational question of our source material today. Look, the ultimate goal outlined here isn't about crossing your fingers for a one-off windfall, right? It's not about hitting the digital lottery. It's about purposefully, consistently generating online income day in and day out. I know, it sounds like a massive undertaking, but I promise you, the text breaks it down into this incredibly logical, step-by-step system. All right, let's look at the roadmap we're using to build this out today. First up, laying the blueprint foundation. Second, choosing your income engine. Third, scaling your revenue safely. And fourth, your 30-day action plan. Okay, phase 1, laying the blueprint foundation. This is all about assessing your goals and setting some really strict ground rules before we start building. Now, what's really interesting here is how the blueprint draws a massive line in the sand right out of the gate. It strictly separates sustainable income, meaning practical, legal, ethical methods, from those completely unrealistic get-rich-quick schemes. It literally mandates that you reject the hype. And honestly, it's not just about avoiding shady tactics. The reality is, with algorithms constantly shifting and regulatory crackdowns happening all the time, those overnight millionaire promises are mathematically impossible to sustain anyway. It's a house of cards. We want a concrete foundation. And this is exactly where you stop dreaming and start doing the math. Before you try to earn a single dime, the source dictates you absolutely must perform what they call a pre-build audit. You need to get real with yourself. What skills do you actually have? What is your real hard budget? You've got to calculate the exact amount of time you can realistically dedicate each week and figure out what resources are already at your fingertips. You just can't execute a viable plan without knowing your exact constraints. Moving right along to phase 2, choosing your income engine. These are the specific vehicles that will drive your daily online income. The blueprint breaks down the absolute fastest ways to start earning into 4 core business models. First, we have freelancing, which is all about leveraging high-demand skills you might already possess. Then there's e-commerce and dropshipping, perfect if you want to sell products without dealing with a garage full of inventory. Next up is social media monetization. And lastly, AI-powered opportunities. Honestly, this one is a real game changer right now. It's an incredibly high-leverage addition for anyone who knows how to use AI prompts and automate their workflows. Now, let's say social media monetization is the engine you decide to go with. The text specifically points us toward TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Why these 4? Well, it's not just because practically everyone uses them. It's because of their aggressive algorithmic reach and the fact that they have incredibly mature built-in monetization tools. If you can understand how to capture and actually retain people's attention, these platforms are the primary arenas for systematically generating that daily income. So the crucial point here, and this is what it all boils down to, is finding the opportunity with the highest return for the absolute least investment. You're looking for that asymmetrical return. You want the specific engine that requires the least upfront cash but gives you the highest leverage based on your personal skills. This connects right back to that pre-build audit we talked about. Your chosen model has to align perfectly with your time and your budget to get the absolute maximum bang for your buck. Let's shift gears to phase 3, scaling your revenue safely. This covers the critical milestones from your very first $100 all the way up to financial independence. The blueprint demands absolute, laser focus on one specific, immediate goal, earning your very first $100 online. You might be wondering, why just $100? Because it completely shatters the psychological barrier. Earning that first 100 proves to your own brain that this concept actually works in the real world. Once you hit that, then you scale. The text maps it out clearly. Hit 100 in week 1, push it to 500 in your first month, scale to 1,000 by month 3, and then set your sights on a much larger target by the 6-month mark. And this brilliantly illustrates that larger target, $5,000 a month. According to the blueprint, this is the benchmark for baseline financial independence from home. And the source doesn't frame this as some sort of pipe dream, you know? It treats it as a totally systematic, achievable target, as long as you rigorously follow the roadmap scaling procedures. But here's the catch. Reaching that 5 grand mark securely means you absolutely cannot rely on a single point of failure. The source text makes a really fascinating point here. True financial independence realistically requires a massive shift in your strategy over time. You can't just stick with one thing forever. You eventually have to transition from a single income stream to building multiple, diversified income streams simultaneously. It's like having backup generators. It ensures your revenue is protected if a platform suddenly changes its rules or the market shifts. Which brings us to our final phase, Phase 4, your 30-day action plan. This covers execution, maintenance, and, crucially, avoiding those early pitfalls. Let's see how this builds into your actual day-to-day. This phase is all about daily, systematic execution. And to keep your risk super low right out of the gate, the text strongly advises leaning on free tools, open source platforms, and the provided scripts and templates. Think about it. You don't have to sit there guessing what to say to a client or trying to figure out how to format a digital product from scratch. Leveraging these existing templates literally removes the guesswork so you can just focus on executing your daily tasks. As you can see, success here really requires playing offense and defense at the exact same time. On the offense side, you're implementing your daily plan and utilizing those free tools. But on the defense side, you have to actively map out and dodge the common mistakes that trip up so many beginners. It's really not enough just to check off your to-do list. You've got to stay hyper-aware of the risks that can completely derail your progress in those critical early days. If you take away just one single core philosophy from this entire text, let it be this: focus on sustainable income rather than get-rich-quick schemes. True success in the digital space demands deep patience. It demands a ruthlessly honest assessment of what you're good at and an absolute unwavering commitment to execution. Because at the end of the day, patience and practical, steady building will always outlast the flash-in-the-pan hype of overnight wealth. The roadmap is laid out right in front of you, from that very first crucial self-audit all the way up to that $5,000 a month target. The only thing left to do is to actually start pouring the concrete for that foundation. So I'll leave you with this. Are you ready to analyze your skills and kick off your 30-day action plan today? Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Stay focused, get out there, and keep learning.